Hello and welcome back to Rain Check. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after the whole incident with Monti, I believe, where they went to go question him, and they discovered that he apparently doesn't really know why he was there. He received the same text messages that Theodore received, where he was basically being told to go to that warehouse place and to join something, I believe, and then he was just beat up for some weird reason. So yeah, afterwards they ran into Lawrence, which I believe is one of Rou and Javier's co-workers. Apparently Rou does not like them. Javier is indifferent. He realizes that Lawrence works a specific way which does not vibe with Rou, so I guess that's where the animosity comes from. But yeah, after that, not much else happened. I mean, obviously other stuff happened, but yeah, that's like the gist of what happened towards the end. But yeah. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, let us continue Rain Check. I rise from my bed and stretch my tired limbs, letting out a soft groan as I mute my alarm. Ugh, jeez. My gaze is drawn to the softly blinking segmenter on the bedside table. Alright, maybe it's time to figure out what this thing does. I pick it up, power it on, and find myself staring at the tiny LED screen, feeling a bit lost. With just a handful of buttons, it can't be that complicated, can it? I press each button methodically, but the screen remains unchanged. I try aiming the segmenter around, but unsurprisingly, nothing happens. Feeling frustrated, I opt for a quick refresh in the bathroom instead. God, I look like a mess. I fixate on the bruise on my thigh, wincing as I gently prod it. Well, at least it's not getting any worse, I guess. I wonder who that could be. Rose said that he'd let me know when they're coming to pick me up. I cautiously approach the door, curiosity rising. Looking through the spyglass, I find it darker than expected. Did the hallway lights go out? I'm barely able to make out a nervous-looking hyena on the other side. Who is this guy? Hi, can I help you? I speak up, making sure that they can hear me through the door. Hey, is your power out too? I'm staying in the room next to you. My power? I hit the light switch by the door. No, it seems fine. Okay. I guess I'll talk to the front desk about it. Thanks. The hyena disappears from view before I slowly open the door and notice the lights in the hallway flickering. Wait. I look down at the segmenter, still in my paws. Did I do that? Holy shit, this thing has crazy range. Well, now that I know what it's capable of, I shouldn't mess around with it anymore. I see why Javier was so cautious earlier. I walk over to my bedside and pick up my phone. Hello? We'll be there in 30 minutes. Please change into something more inconspicuous. Hey, Javier, sure. What should I? The call abruptly ends before I can finish my question. Well, so much for that. It's been over 40 minutes now. This drive feels way longer than I remember. We haven't really talked much earlier, since Rou focused on driving and Javier typing away on his laptop. Eventually, I can spot the familiar lights blinking from the cooling towers off in the distance. We must be getting close. Well, we're almost there. How are you feeling, Theodore? Honestly, still kinda nervous, but at least I'm not scared anymore. Good. You have nothing to be afraid of. I want to know why I got those texts, and why the power plant. What does this all mean? There's Monti, too. Exactly. I wonder what the connection is, or if there even is any. The car suddenly jolts, causing Javier's laptop to fall on the floor. Could you try to avoid the potholes? I'm working here. How about I drive over 3 more, just for you? The fox focuses back on his laptop, sounding defeated. Are you almost done? No, I'm not. I'm trying to wrap up the decryption process on the data Lawrence gave me, among some other things. But it's taking longer than I expected. If it's not PGP2, then... Don't tell me it's... The fox continues to murmur to himself about the contents on his screen that I don't fully understand. Some time passes and the familiar sights of the streets and buildings around me start to become recognizable. In any case, we're as close as we can be. The fox closes the laptop shut and stores it away in the glove compartment. Alright. I wasn't getting anywhere anyways. Thanks to somebody. So, what's the plan? Rou parks the car and the two of them turn around to face me. We did some more investigation earlier and found out that this place was decommissioned years ago, yet it's still operating. Which means the people, the activity, and especially the signals shouldn't have been there earlier. I got the paperwork and warrant approved, signed and submitted, so we can infiltrate inside too. What? Rou's sudden sharp voice catches me off guard. What do you mean, what? That's not why I asked you to get the paperwork signed. We're not going inside. What? Then why the hell did you ask me to do it? It's so that we can be here in the first place and collect information that's defensible in court. Okay, and... We already went in earlier, so the warrant practically covers us going in again. What's going on? What's this warrant? We need to get a warrant every time we investigate any points of interest. It lets us investigate and deem any information we gather there to be lawful and usable in court if needed. Normally, we get one approved before we visit a location, but we couldn't get one approved for this morning on such short notice until recently. Which means that we had to get permission to go inside, since that's what we did earlier. Which we're not. You saw what happened. It's dangerous. We're going to stay outside and survey from a distance. What? Too dangerous? You could have taken on at least 24 of those guys if you weren't too busy saving the pig earlier. Let's have Theodore go inside alone while I sneak back in to investigate the signal. Meanwhile, you can keep an eye on Theodore, just to be safe. No. Why do you always have to be so stubborn? Do you hear yourself? It's dangerous. Theodore could get hurt. That's why you're there. The two continue arguing until Rou raises his voice, which silences Javier and shakes the entire car. Since we can't come to a decision, why don't we ask Theodore? It's his issue after all. Fine, that sounds good to me. I'm sure Theodore can pick the obvious answer here. The two stare at me eagerly, each hoping that I'll side with them. Huh? You guys want me to decide? Yes. Now choose. We don't have all night. Well, I really don't have any other choice because Rou's plan isn't written. Well, I mean... We're already here, right? We'll probably get more information if we go back inside. See, Rou? I'm glad somebody agrees with me. But could you explain again why we're looking for the signal? What's so important? I was oversimplifying it, but... I really hate when that happens. This is to simply say, wouldn't it be suspicious to find something where it doesn't belong? Yeah, I guess. Great then. If that's all the questions, I suggest that we depart at once. The faster we get in, the faster we can leave. The faster we can go home. As for our escape route, I can drive the car to the front afterwards, and you two can make a run for it, then we leave. Okay, but I don't really like the idea of being a distraction or bait. What if I stayed in the car? Listen, I didn't want you here at all, but somebody wanted to bring you along. I told you, it's better to keep him close by in case something happens. Fine, but if he's here, he's going to be useful. He's going to be a liability if he goes in. You mutt. He's already a liability being here. Javier ignores Rou's disdain and turns his attention to me. Theodore, they're expecting you, and we need to take advantage of that, right? I nod, slowly understanding the task at hand. So you want me to be like Monti and get information? Precisely. But what if they recognize me? We were undetectable earlier, jammed their cameras, and Rou put the rest of the guys into a coma, probably. Nothing to worry about. I guess. Don't sweat it. Rou will be nearby to make sure that you're okay. Well, I'll be infiltrating inside, understand? The fox stares at Rou, who responds back with a low growl before turning to look at me. Fine. Great. Then we'll be needing these. The fox opens a glove compartment and takes out a case that contains several earpieces. Take one and put it in your ear so that we can communicate with you. I do as I'm told and place one tightly in my ear. Javier inspects my ear and gives me a curt nod before they follow my lead. Alright, looks fine. We're good to go. The three of us carefully walk down the dark white road towards the power plant, with Rou leading the way. It's awfully silent. What happened to the ambient noise that I heard earlier? After some time, we come to a stop as we see the gates in the horizon. We should split off here. Okay, Theodore. All you have to do is walk up to the gates and announce yourself. Should be easy enough. I stare back at Rou, who still looks miffed about this. I'm going around the back. I'll notify you too when I'm done. The fox makes his way off the road, disappearing off behind some buildings. Are you ready? I think so. I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, though. That's normal. Go on up. I'll be watching out for you from the sides. The wolf pats me on the back before giving me a wink and a small push forward. Break a leg. Haha, real funny. I walk up to the gate, aware that my presence is probably being monitored by countless cameras around. Hello? I'm here for the... I got the text saying to come here. I try to knock on the gate for attention and feel the gate slowly being pushed free. That's strange. It's not locked. Hello? Is anybody here? I stand around for almost a full minute before Javier's voice rings through the earpiece. Wait a bit and see if anyone comes out. I'm not seeing any signs of activity back here. Sure. But the gate's not locked. Maybe they all left? In that case, try and go in and look around. Okay. I push the gate until there's just enough room for me to slip in. I'm coming inside. I announce myself for the final time, but when nothing happens, I make my way in. The silence is more noticeable now that I'm roaming around. Something seems off. There is equipment scattered across the area, with forklifts and trucks parked in the middle of the place. It's like whoever was here just vanished. Guys, this place is empty. As expected, I picked up the underground signal again, heading towards it now. How does it look outside, Rou? No cars anywhere, not even in the parking lot. Should we meet up with you, Javier? Not yet. Try and see if the two of you can gain access to the control room while I try and figure out how to track down the signal. It might provide some insight as to what happened here. Control room, Stay put, Theodore. I'm just around the corner. Okay. I spend the next few moments in complete silence waiting by a utility shed for Rou. Unnerving as it is, I managed to keep my composure long enough to see Rou pop up from around the corner, beckoning for me. I found a way in. Come. To the control room? Probably. I follow Rou through a side path that I didn't take while coming in, and it leads to an imposing building with large glass doors. Did you see anything on your way in? No. Did you? No. I'm starting to think that they left right after we did. What makes you say that? Just a hunch. It feels so weird seeing all the equipment just laying around. This place was supposed to be abandoned years ago. Makes me wonder how long it's been occupied considering most of the buildings and vehicles look relatively well kept. We make it to an old set of large barred steel doors before a small, unassuming building. These doors are unlocked, and if you follow the walls, it leads to that large warehouse over there. He effortlessly swings the doors open, takes a peek inside, and enters before nodding me over. It's clear. I make my way in, following Rou, but immediately stop when I realize that the room is mostly lit up. The lights are still on. Does that mean someone's still here? Not necessarily. These look motion activated. We spent the next few moments scanning around, finding a way forward. Over there, that way. The wolf points down a long, narrow hallway that's covered with folders and paper haphazardly scattered about. Careful, these pipes look dangerous. I watch Rou as he maneuvers his way through the obstacles with ease, ducking under and striding over all the pipes that protrude from the walls. He makes it look so easy. What's with all these papers? It looks like whoever dropped these didn't have the time to pick them back up. We quickly notice that most, if not all, the papers have been blacked out and redacted. The wolf picks up a couple of folders and quickly scans their contents before throwing them back down. Notice how they're all spotless and clean. These were placed here rather recently. They've all been redacted. How suspicious. Curiously, I pick up a paper and try to hold it up against the light to see if I can read anything. That won't work. They're photocopies. I wonder what they're trying to hide. Probably something illegal. We exit the hallway and enter a large holding area for supplies. I don't think this leads to the control room. Dead end. My eyes catch sight of a stairwell on the side of the wall that leads to a door on the second floor. Wait, maybe not. It keeps going on over there. Where are you guys? We're in some kind of buffer area where they store the equipment and supplies. Did you find the control room? No, not yet. What's the matter? Theodore, did you just use your phone a moment ago? No, why? I just got a high-frequency spike from a spectrometer, meaning someone's phone is broadcasting to a nearby cell tower. Then we're not alone. How annoying. Exactly, and they're close by, so be careful. I'm still trying to gain access to the basement. Alright. So... Rou returns back to a nod as I motion to the stairs, though our movements now are much slower and methodical, making sure that we don't make too much noise. I really hope that we don't run into anyone. I don't want to get into another fight. As we reach the top, Rou scouts through the door's only window. This way. We enter into another hallway, but this looks a lot more run down and damp. There's at least 10 rooms that have doors fully opened. It feels like this place got pillaged with how messy everything is. What the hell happened here? Though my voice is a whisper, Rou glances back at me and puts a digit to his lips. We slowly navigate down the mess, periodically glancing into the rooms as we pass. Room 32A, Room 32B. The rooms look identical, a bunch of desks with some lab equipment on top, with the occasional empty beakers on the side, with all the cabinets wide open. Otherwise, they're pretty much empty. Eventually, we reach the end of the hallway and turn the corner, only to be greeted by a skinny metal door. Stairs. The wolf opens the door and peers down a dark stairwell. Javier, we found the stairs that go down at least 4 floors. Let me know where it leads. I just got down to the basement. I take that as my cue to enter and descend down floor after floor in what seems to be the most eerie set of stairs that I've ever seen. We enter another corridor, but this one is dimly lit with emergency lights casting a strange glow on everything. We're in the basement now. Where are you? I'm by the ventilation system. We couldn't find the control room though. Maybe it's in another building? That's fine. It's not important. Where are you guys? We're in a hallway with some unlabeled rooms. I don't think we're close by. Should we come find you? No need. I know where you guys are. Give me a second. I need to show you something that I found. I look over at Rou, who's peering into a room that's filled with equipment. Is this a power plant or a laboratory? Now that you mention it, there was some lab stuff that we passed upstairs. The wolf walks over to another door, peering in through the door window, and attempts to open the door. Locked. Tempted to see how well this door holds up, but I'd rather not draw any attention to us. Curious, I look through another door on the opposite side. Test tubes, microscopes, and... Is that one of those medical showers? Don't you notice anything off about these rooms? Off? No, not really. Exactly. These rooms look well maintained. So I guess they were doing research here up until recently? Yup. Rou and I exchange glances as we both hear footsteps off in the distance. Javier? Is that you? I whisper as quietly as I can into the earpiece. That depends. Do you hear this? There is a faint snap off in the distance. I thought you were the mysterious guy looking around. The fox turns around the corner, down the hall. I've never been this happy to see Javier. I heard what you guys were talking about, but I think that you two might find this more interesting. He unfolds a piece of crumpled paper from his pocket and passes it over to Rou. The wolf examines it before showing it to me. It's redacted and blacked out, just like the papers that we saw earlier. We saw something like this already. I overheard, but this one's different. How? It might be hard to tell with the poor lighting here, but that isn't a photocopy. It's not? I see, which means that we can potentially put out some information from it. Precisely. There's also something peculiar on the other side, but I'm not sure what to make of it yet. The wolf flips over the paper. Our eyes scan the document for anything out of the ordinary. I see. What? I don't see what's... Oh. My eyes stop at the bottom of the page. There's two particular words that aren't redacted. Skeleton, and then several lines below that, Hazenide. Skeleton? Hazenide? Skeleton. How interesting that would show up here. Not surprising, though. Wait, that skeleton? Do you think that this is related to me and Monti? Or maybe that they're involved in some illegal drug production? There is a long drawn-out sigh that escapes Rou. I hate to admit this, but it looks like we need to discuss this with Lawrence. Looking at it closer, Hazenside looks to be a part of a longer word, but it's been blacked out. Where did you find this? Found it crumpled up on the ground as I passed by the back gate. Interesting thing is, it was next to a large incinerator. Lucky you. They don't call me the Lucky Fox for nothing. No one calls you that. Well, we could start. No. The fox takes the paper back and pulls out his phone with a small metal frame attached to it. Anyway, let's continue searching for the signal. Javier's phone emits a faint beep ever so often as we pass by another lengthy, wide hallway. We're getting closer now. The RF signals are spiking this direction. He points to another section of the hallway, separated by two large doors. Careful, we don't know what or who we might find in there. I heed Rou's warnings and let the other two pass in front of me as I carefully tread behind them. Javier takes the lead and stops just beside the door, staring at the door plate. Server room. The fox gets on his toes, carefully peering into the room via the small window on the door. It looks empty. He turns the door handle and surprisingly is able to push it open before looking inside. Empty. Not locked, huh? I got a bad feeling about that. Theodore, go in with Javier. I'll stay out here and keep watch. Sure. It's so warm in here and loud. The room's big and packed with countless server racks, each housing at least a dozen servers all whirling about. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought that we were at a data center than a power plant. So these were the signals that I've been picking up. The fox gazes intently at his phone, the screen flickering rapidly regardless of the direction he turns it. I didn't expect a power plant to have a server room. Almost all do, to monitor and manage their operations efficiently. However, the size of this one seems disproportionate. The fox scans through the racks of computers that line up the room. What are we looking for exactly? Not sure yet, but there might be a computer nearby to control these servers. Computer? You mean like the one right over there? I point to a corner of the room that's lined up with monitors and equipment. Javier looks at me in surprise and wastes no time walking over. It's already on. But nobody's around. Do you think whoever was using it left the computer on? The fox studies the screen and shakes his head in agreement slowly. System backup to the cloud, huh? And it was scheduled 10 minutes ago, too. Javier wastes no time in taking out a small USB and plugging it directly into the computer. What? I'm copying data. Are you sure that we should be doing that? Technically, this place is supposed to be abandoned, so I don't see why not. The fox stares back at the screen and a frown starts to form. This is going to take a couple of minutes. Isn't that fast? This USB is copying just under a petabyte per second, which means that these servers have a lot stored on them. We can leave immediately after this is done. What about the control room? I thought that we were looking for that. I wanted to get access to their internal network, but since we're already here... His attention goes back to the screen, but Rose suddenly appears next to us, a look of urgency on his face. Hide. Someone's coming. Chale. The fox quickly guns down a row of servers, disappearing from sight. With no good hiding spots around, Rou and I hide behind the largest server rack that we can find at the corner of the room opposite from the computer and entrance. I'm already hoping the noise and the servers are enough to conceal us. Rou squats down, motioning me to do the same as I peer through the gaps between the servers. What do you see? Someone. They're gray and... a snow leopard. The same one Monti said? I can't tell. I only see their tail. What do we do now? Leave. We start inching our way towards the exit, but we halt in our tracks when we hear something faint through all the noise. Shit! Hey! Let go of me! Come here, you piece of shit! Javier's voice is panicked on the earpiece, with Rou getting up immediately and rushing over. Crap. I take my earpiece off and run the other way, trying to keep myself hidden as I try to get a better view. I slowly creep down the aisles, making sure not to reveal my location too soon. Let go of me, you cat! Shit, where's Javier? His voice is muffled through all the noise, but he sounded close by. I sneak down another row and catch a glimpse of Rou through a small divide in the cabinets. Rou's standing in front of a snow leopard who has Javier in a precarious chokehold, a blade pressed alarmingly close to his throat. More spies, huh? Who are you working for? Who sent you? Start talking or I'll slit his fucking throat in half. The masked man moves the blade closer to Javier as Rou slowly inches his way forward. We're not spies. Bullshit. The wolf calmly rises his paw out, hoping to de-escalate the situation. Relax. Put the knife down. We'll talk. Stay the fuck back. Don't tell me what to do. You don't think that I'll do it, huh? He points the knife wildly, bouncing between Javier and Rou. Wait. I know you. You're the one who beat the shit out of us earlier. Now you're back to finish the job, huh? We're everywhere. You can't do shit to us. Shit. I need to do something or Javier's going to die. Wait, I got the segmenter. I'm practically around the corner at this point, but it seems like I'm still hidden. Okay, I'll jump out, distract them, and turn off the lights. Hopefully, that'll give an opening for Rou to say Javier. Let this be a lesson to you, fucking wolf. No one crosses blackout and lives with it. I hear Javier yell out as the masked man holds him tighter in the chokehold. Hey! I jump around the corner and, in a panic, start mashing the buttons on the segmenter as fast as I can. Who the hell? There is a sudden loud bang that pierces the silence, accompanied by a bright flash of light. Ugh! Was that a gun? I immediately ducked down and scrambled to hide behind one of the shelves for cover. Fuck off! There's nothing but silence. Is it over? Ugh. The seconds tick by painfully as my eyes adapt to the darkness, only to be momentarily blinded by the emergency lights kicking in. I don't hear anything. There's no one around. Guys? Ugh. Spy my ass. My eyes finally readjust, and I rush over to the fox, who's now laying on the ground. Javier? Are you okay? Where's Rou? Where's the other guy? They ran out. I kneel down, trying to get closer to Javier. Are you hurt? Obviously. The fox slowly rises, patting the dirt off of his clothes and feeling his neck. Are you okay? What happened? I fell over and got winded. My neck is sore, but fortunately it's not sliced open. What happened? Javier takes a moment to catch his breath as he stares off towards the exit. After you turned off the power, I saw an opening to bite on his arm, but subsequently got knocked down when Rou came charging in. I couldn't see much after that, but I heard them run out. Also, he was equipped with a knife and a gun. Talk about prepared. The fox nods at me and I reveal the segmenter from my paw. So that's what it was. Good thinking. Although you could have done it sooner. Thanks. I kinda panicked at the last second, so I just ended up mashing the buttons. But I'm glad it worked out. What do you mean you mashed the buttons? I was more or less mashing the buttons on the... You mean you didn't use the lowest setting? I don't know. You idiot! This is the first time that I've ever seen Javier this angry. The fox takes out his phone and waves the blank screen it to me. Let's hope that my phone hasn't been damaged. Javier rushes towards the computer that's now off to retrieve his USB. And let's hope that the data isn't corrupted either. I'm sorry, you were in danger and that was the only thing that I could think of. He sends a piercing glare my way, but then eases, releasing a heavy sigh. Sorry. Let's make sure Rou's okay. The fox approaches me awkwardly and hesitantly, reaches out a paw before immediately retracting it. And thank you for saving me. I owe you. Don't mention it? Is that how he says thanks? As we head back up, there's no sign of Rou, but we trace his likely path through the vague wreckage that he left behind. There's shattered glass and swung open doors that weren't there earlier. Stay alert, the cat could still be lurking around. I hold out a broom that I found while making our way up, ready to swing it if the snow leopard shows up again. We spend the next several minutes searching the floors for Rou, but it ends up being fruitless. I swear to God, why would he do something so dangerous as chasing after a maniac? You think he's okay? Yes, but I'm more worried about us. Eventually, we make our way back to where I first entered from, and I see Rou off in the distance, completely drenched from head to toe. Rou! Jesus. I rush over to Rou, who clearly looks annoyed. That bastard. You're not hurt, are you? What happened? He extends out a paw from his pocket, revealing the same knife that was used on Javier earlier. There is a particular pointiness to the knife that makes me nervous just looking at it. The fox takes out a small Ziploc bag from within his coat and gingerly stores it inside. How exotic. I've never seen a blade as sharp as this. Glad it's in my paws instead of on my neck. Wait, isn't this the snow leopards? He threw it at me when I was trying to catch him, but the wolf looks outside. It's only now that I realize how hard it's storming. Rou, your shoulder. I stare in disbelief as I point at the dark red soaked stain that's slowly seeping down his coat. I'll be fine. He only grazed me. Tss. Will you please be more careful? What am I gonna do if you get hurt? Though, we've made a lot of progress tonight, which means that I have a lot to process. Okay, so what do we do now? We leave, especially since Rou here is injured. But it's pouring outside. Rou walks over and wraps me underneath his coat, which is surprisingly dry on the inside. Come on, it's getting late. 3508, 3509. I wonder what Rou wants to talk about at this time of the night. I'm here. The door swings open and I'm greeted with the sight of Rou in just his jockstraps. Oh, is this a bad time? I can come back later. No, come in. It's late enough. I decide to plop down on the sofa, trying my best not to stare at Rou, changing. So, how's your shoulder? The wolf scoffs and gives me a grin. I told you, it's just a graze, nothing to worry about. You say that, but it's not every day that I see someone get shot. He quickly flexes his broad arms and gives a shrug back. I'm fine. If you say so. I can't help but sneak a few glances over at Rou, admiring his well-defined back muscles through his coffee red fur. Anyway, what's up? Why'd you ask me to come over? You said that it was something important? We can talk about it later. We haven't eaten yet, have you? We both stare at my stomach that grumbles on cue. No. Perfect. Dinner's on me. Let's go. Wait, what? Go where? It's almost 11. What's even open at this time? Javier made reservations at the Escapade, but he's passing. Said that he had too much work to do tonight. This late? He's a workaholic. What can you expect? So, what do you say? I think I'll pass too. Today's been crazy and I'm mentally and physically exhausted. Rou shakes his head disapprovingly. Alright, what do you want to eat? Huh? Forget the reservation. I'll order something instead. But I thought your phone was broken. Finally got a replacement from Javier earlier. Oh, in that case, you can order whatever. I'm not picky. He chuckles as he finishes zipping up his pants. Got it. I'll surprise you. There. It'll take a bit before the food's here. The wolf puts his new phone away before sitting down on the bed. Nice. What did you order? You'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well after everything today. Hope it wasn't too traumatic. It's okay. Definitely a new experience for me. But what about you? You've always been asking me how I'm doing, but I don't think that I've ever stopped to ask about you. He ponders at me for a few seconds, seemingly thinking how to reply. I'm fine. Rou looks away, yet I can't help but give back a smile. That's good. You said that you're here for the convention, right? Any plans after? I sigh at the thought of returning back home and applying for jobs. No, not much afterwards. Fly back, start reapplying for jobs, look after the house, look after my mother. I stop myself after I realize that I'm starting to ramble on. Sorry. Don't be. Is your mother ill? If you don't mind me asking. No, she's fine. At least physically. She was diagnosed with chronic depression shortly after my father passed away. Ah. Sorry I asked. No, it's okay. I've pretty much gotten used to it. For the most part. I take in a deep sigh and stare out the window. Hey, can I ask a silly question? What is it? Do Do you think there's life out there in space? Do you believe in the greater power? Do you think time travel will be a thing? Space. My eyes fixate at the night sky before locking onto an airplane soaring by. Do you think that there's life out there in space? I try to sound as serious as possible, but Rose shoots me a look. Like aliens? Yeah, kinda. Space is so vast that there's billions and billions of galaxies out there, each with their own planets. Maybe some of the planets even have life, and their own societies and government, and creatures living their own lives with their own struggles. Maybe even one of them is looking up at their own night sky, wondering the same thing. He strokes his chin, lost in thought. I've never thought about it like that. Maybe. Who knows? I chuckle back at Ro, who looks confused. Why do you ask? You don't look like an astronomer. Well, sometimes when life's too much and I'm not sure what to do, I think about just how small we are in the grand scheme of things. How much we don't matter and how silly all our problems are. I hope that makes sense. The wolf smiles back and I can't help but follow. You have a lot on your mind, don't you? His words take me back, although I shouldn't be surprised that he could tell. It's pretty obvious at this point. Probably not as much as you. To be frank, I couldn't care less about aliens or even most people, but we all have our own struggles. We just need to tackle them one at a time. I nod, internalizing his words as I stare off at the darkened horizon. Do you believe in a greater power? Oh, I got another stupid question. It's not stupid. Go ahead. I stare at my paws before focusing my attention at Ro. Do you think that there is some kind of god out there? The wolf cranes his head, his brows furrowing at my question. No. Do you? I shake my head. Me neither. Maybe I did when I was little. All I remember was that after discovering about God, I thought there was something out there watching over us, over me. But I gave up on thinking that soon after my dad passed away. I know it's a pretty naive way of thinking, but what kind of God lets their people suffer? I can't speak much about gods and such, but that isn't a naive way of thinking. The world is filled with its evils. What's wrong with wanting to feel safe? I return a small smile as I find some comfort in his words. There isn't. Things might be difficult at times, but it'll pass. It always does. And if it doesn't, well, we've got bigger problems to worry about at that point. Yeah. Time travel? Okay, this is the final last question, I promise. I give Ro an earnest smile in which he returns a doubtful smirk. I'm not your therapist, but go ahead. He chuckles and we both end up staring at the cityscape below. I watched this documentary before about time travel and well, do you think that it'll ever be real? It's already real. We're moving through time every moment. Okay, smart guy, but do you ever think that we could travel back in time? With how technology has been advancing these days, who knows? But I'm doubtful. Would you travel back in time if you could? You'd be able to go back and fix your mistakes and maybe even change the past. Because I know I would. Ro doesn't answer immediately, his face appearing conflicted with how he's staring at me. Eventually, he looks down at his lap and then finally to me. No, I wouldn't. But why not? Simple. I believe that we're defined by our experiences, our failures, our accomplishments, our memories. It's what makes us who we are today. And I wouldn't want to be anybody else but me. His words weigh heavily, and I can tell that they're from the heart. Something about it puts me at ease. We sit there in a comfortable silence for a moment, admiring the scenery below. I used to be like you once upon a time. What do you mean? Full of wonder and introspectiveness. It's a crazy world out there, Theodore, and I don't blame you for feeling this way. Just make sure that you don't lose sight of what's important to you, and you'll be alright. I nod slowly. He gets up and smirks at me. Next time you want to be philosophical, give me a heads up. I was expecting a joke when you said silly. Looks like the food's here. I might take a bit. Feel free to entertain yourself. I give Rou an earnest smile as he picks up the TV remote and tosses it onto the bed. Thanks. Be back. Man, that really drained me. I guess I could see what's on while I wait. I flip through the channels and the local news station catches my attention. Now bringing you the latest breaking news. Large group of protesters have gathered outside the city hall in protest against new city bylaws. Locals say it's only a matter of time before things get chaotic. The screen cuts to a shot of what I can only assume is a city official being swarmed by a mob of people. Yikes, I wouldn't want to be him. The new proposed law would allow zoning laws to be less strict, allowing companies to build their factories and waste management deeper into the city. Concerns were raised when locals discovered just how much pollutant would be dumped into neighboring areas, particularly the sea. The mayor has commented that this is, quote, what the local economy needs to grow, end quote, but many in these protests would disagree. I'm joined with the local now. Please, sir, can you tell me just how important this issue means to you? There is a sudden weightlessness as my body touches something soft. Huh? Rou? What are you doing? I slowly get up and realize that I am now on the bed. When did that happen? Didn't mean to wake you. I saw you practically falling off the sofa. Oh. I let out a long yawn, trying to remember what I was doing before I drifted off. The food's on the counter. How long was I asleep? About 10 minutes. My face starts to flush from embarrassment. I see. My nose twitches as I smell something fragrant off in the distance. I get up and I'm immediately dumbfounded by the amount of pizza present. What the hell? You ordered 4 boxes? You're not the only one with an appetite. We spend the next little while devouring the pizza, only slowing down on the last box. Fool. The wolf stretches his arms, revealing just how stuffed his stomach really is. Yeah, you could say that again. I feel like I could pass out at any moment. You sure you don't want seconds? I ordered more. I'm good. Any more and I'll throw up. I thought you have a bigger stomach than that. Especially after everything today. And what's up? You know, in terms of your situation, it's safe to say that whoever's in charge of Blackout, they won't be contacting you anymore. Javier and I suspect that something had scared them off between sometime in the morning and evening when we arrived. That's great to hear. Rou's ears briefly flatten, and for a moment a frown flickers across his face. Right? Our responsibility with you is over, since there's no longer any threat. Right. The wolf sighs and returns a bittersweet smile. It's been an interesting and enjoyable 2 days with you, to say the least. But you really shouldn't be involved in any more of this than you need to. You could have died earlier. His words make sense, and I should be happy that it's finally over, but there is a feeling of emptiness that I can't shake off. I nod back, not really sure what to say. Is this what you wanted to talk about earlier? He nods back solemnly. As much as I like having you around, I have a job to do. You understand that, right? I sigh. I know. Honestly, this was the first time that I felt like I was doing something important in a long while. So this was a good opportunity in trying to prove something of myself. Though I feel like I can still do more. If you let me, you know. Sorry, I'm rambling again. I know this is going to sound so stupid, but I thought because you were looking after me, I let out an awkward chuckle, and I pull out the segmenter that's still in my pocket. I'm sure Javier told you, but I kinda botched the investigation earlier with this. I handed back to Rou while staring at the ground, avoiding eye contact. Can we still hang out? Sorry, we can't. But why? I ask without thinking. It's obvious why. I look up and see Rou conflicted. You should go. He looks like he wants to say something, but is holding back. Okay. Thanks for everything, and let Javier know too. I turn around and make my way for the exit. Theodore. Take care. I shouldn't try and get too attached. I should have known from the start that our friendship would have been temporary. At least everything's back to normal. It feels so weird being in here. Despite everything, these past 2 days have just been the highlight of my trip, as crazy as that sounds. I sigh as the empty feeling grows more apparent. I need to get a grip, but I'm not sure what's wrong with me. Maybe a bath will clear my mind. I glance down at the tub and then my gaze shifts to the bruise on my thigh. Definitely looks worse than it feels. I'm glad Rou was able to take a look at it. Ah, Rou. I'm still not sure what to think of what happened earlier, but I slowly grope myself, recalling the smell and taste of the large maroon wolf. Fuck. No, I shouldn't. I should try to plan out what to do tomorrow instead. Oh shit. I panic and turn the valve shut before the water overflows. Just how long was I spacing out for? I carefully lower myself into the tub, the hot water spilling from my weight. Whatever, I'll clean it up later. The hot water envelops me and I'm finally able to relax. No more weird texts. No more fights. No more putting my life at risk. No more Rou. Someone's knocking at this time of the night? I would be stupid to hope it'd be Rou, but maybe? Just a second. I quickly hop out of the tub and wrap on a towel before checking through the spyglass. Ah, it is Rou. Hey. The wolf points to my towel and my face immediately heats up. How ironic. I was taking a bath. Should I come back? Haha. No, it's fine. Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong. I just wanted to talk. Oh, sure. Come in then. I quickly throw on some clean clothes as Rou makes his way into my room, silently staring out the window. So, what did you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Not much. I guess I'm just thinking about what to do tomorrow. What about you? What were you gonna say earlier about me looking after you? His question catches me off guard, and I'm left feeling flustered. I did say that, didn't I? I know the investigation is over, but I thought that you'd stay with me longer because of what we said. Because of what we did earlier. Sorry. I see Rou staring at me through our reflection on the glass. He lets out a sigh and finally approaches me, clearly upset. Don't apologize. I should have just told you earlier. I don't want you around because I'd only put you at risk. That's it. Yeah. You know, I really felt like I was making a difference when I was tagging along. He extends out his arms, holding me tightly. You did, and I'm impressed. What? I stammer over myself, trying to find the words to conceal my embarrassment. You saved Javier. You obliged to follow us and helped us get several leads, and you never once complained about it. He looks at me closely as if he's trying to understand me better. I would be lying if I didn't say that I'm quite fond of you and your resiliency. But when it comes down to it, you have to realize that you're a civilian without formal training. There are legal concerns, and we could face problems if anything were to happen to you. Today should have been an eye-opener for all of us. He points to his shoulder. We initially thought your incident was minor, but it escalated into dealing with a gang, and now we suspect a major crime syndicate is involved. Just because you got out clean this time doesn't mean that you can next, especially when they've got firearms. His tone is gentle and sensible. I know. It's just, I feel like this is my responsibility too. Blackout was targeting me and Monti, and now they've disappeared. I just want to get to the bottom of this too and make a difference or something. He wraps me in his arms and sighs. His grip is tight, but reassuring. If you're aware of the risks, then let's talk about this tomorrow, with the three of us. Maybe Javier can figure out something and pull some strings. No promises, though. Is that what you want? My eyes light up and Rou notices. I'll take that as a yes. Yeah. Thank you. He gently pats me on the head before letting go. Come down to the lobby tomorrow at noon. We'll figure something out. Now get some rest. I nod back, feeling a sense of peace wash over me as I watch Rou leave. Good night. To be continued. So, you know me. I'm not the biggest fan of this tiger. Or at the very least, how the story started. I know that the story has changed, though. It's been changing steadily, slowly. I haven't taken the time to reread the beginning because, quite frankly, I don't have the time to do that. So I am talking from a position of somebody that read it from the beginning, from how it originally started. So yeah. So I get the sense that if we're going based on what they literally just said, that the reason why Theodore was being so proactive in what happened, what happened with a little altercation was because he felt that he was part of the team, and he felt that he was part of the team, he wanted to be part of the team, and he felt that he needed to do something, which was a stark contrast from the beginning where he's sort of just there. He's sort of just literally there. And now he's being more than just being there. He's now doing stuff, I guess, is like the easiest way to say it. Which is good because, you know, that takes him from just like a cardboard cutout character that he felt that he was, and he kind of was, at least in the original version of the story, to being more involved and being more, I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but being more interesting. I kind of feel that like Rou was saying, like, legally you can't be here anymore because your part is done. And I don't know how they would find a way to get him to be, or to continue being involved. Because his part of the story is done. I mean, obviously it isn't, because, you know, the story is still ongoing. But I am curious to see what, if anything, he could possibly add to the investigation. That being said, it was already shown that he can at least be a bit more personable. I'm not sure if that's the word, because Javier and Rou come off a little bit as off-putting. They're not that very friendly, Javier especially. Rou is very intimidating. So if you need somebody to intimidate a witness to get information from, then ask Rou. If you need somebody to hack into something, then ask Javier. But if you need somebody to talk to a person in person and not scare the living daylights out of them, then that would be Theodore. So I suppose that's where he could come in handy in this investigation. He is the unassuming little tiger boy who, I mean, what is he gonna do? You look at Rou, it's like, oh, this guy can beat me up. I better not talk to him. You look at Javier, and it's like, I could beat him up. If you look at this guy, it's like, I could beat him up, but why would I want to? Why am I beating him up? Anyways, I mean, I guess he just has that punchable face. Anyways, but Now, to answer the question of, are you gonna do Rose route or Rose option when it's available? Probably not. Why? Because it kind of seems like the story is literally gonna progress exactly the same way, regardless of what option you pick. I just think that it would probably show something else happening. Maybe the altercation wouldn't happen or something. So if there is anything of relevance in that option, then I will tell it to you guys for the next update. Unless there is something like super specific story changing if you decide to go with Rose's plan. But from what I can glean from what just literally happened, I sincerely doubt it. So maybe you will get more like a different or whatever information. Maybe they will find the control room, but they don't find the server room. Who knows? So we'll see, when it gets updated again. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, those are my thoughts. I am happier that, he is a bit more involved in the story now, thankfully. That was my initial gripe with the story, where he was just sort of like a placeholder for you, and I really don't like placeholder characters, or like the characters that are meant for the reader to step into their shoes. Like, no, I prefer a protagonist that is their own character, that is not influenced by how the reader feels. The one thing is, though, that I still feel like their relationship, meaning Theodore and Rose relationship, are moving just a little bit too fast. Like, you barely know this tiger dude. Don't say that you admire him. I mean, I guess you could admire a part of him right now, but you barely know the guy. I feel more in line with Javier, who is just looking at him and going like, my god, this guy is just like this dumbass. He's gonna get us killed, isn't he? I'm not looking at him with hard eyes. I'm looking at him with still have to deal with this guy. But yeah, anyways. Anyway, so write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. But first, these are the channel members. As you can see right here on the left, these are the people who are currently subscribed as channel members, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for choosing to subscribe. And I'm pretty sure that you guys are doing it mostly because of the early access to the videos. I mean, it's not really early access because you guys could read it yourself, but I am very thankful that you choose to subscribe to me to be able to see these videos ahead of time before, everyone else. So yeah, very, very thankful. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to keep doing these. I do want to do channel member specific videos only for you guys. I already have one, but I mean like special things. Maybe towards the end of the year I will do a special something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, thank you all of you, and thank you for watching. And if you would like to play Rain Check yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download Rain Check yourself, and play it, or you can just go to itch.io yourself and download it there and play it. And I am fairly positive that they have a Patreon now, and I will link that down in the description, along with my coffee, or I apparently also have a PayPal tipping page now, if you want to use that too, if you want to tip, if you're not a channel member, you don't have the money, but you do want to tip me, and you don't want to do it through super chats, which is through YouTube, or you don't want to do it through coffee, which, I mean, that's probably the easiest way to do it. There's several ways that you can give me money. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying, it's down there. It's linked down there. Also, if you're on mobile and you don't see the join the channel thing, I will also be posting the link down there. So if you want to join the channel as a member, but you don't see the little join button, it should be down there. So yeah. Also, subscribe, do all the little other stuff. Anyways, so yeah, I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.